Hey, welcome. This is Mike Gingerich with another Halftime Mike podcast. And today, I'm going to be talking about two different topics. First off is I have launched a new book right over here, Making the Miles Count. So I'm excited to talk to you about that one. And the second thing I want to talk about is in the small business realm, what you should do as you're trying to take that next step to get a formal legal entity. This is talking to U.S.-based people there, whether you want to form a LLC or an S Corp. I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of each of those and kind of a recommendation on those pieces. All right. So first things first here is to say that yes, I have written and launched my fourth book. It is available on Amazon.com. It's also available on my website. If you come over to the store, the shop link at the top, you can find it there. Making the Miles Count, Living Beyond the Daily Grind. So just want to tell you a little bit about that. It comes from 10 months of writing and life experience. So I think that, and I talk about it in there, a number of years ago that I kind of came to the point where, a lot of things were going smooth, but ultimately when I looked at it, I was bored and life did not have, a depth to it that I was looking for. It just felt like there should be more and I wanted to go after that. So there were a number of catalysts that really helped me get started in that process. And a number of things I've learned over the last few years. You've seen me come out with my core values of adding value and being uncommon. But this is a book that is written to be very practical. So I don't just like to take head knowledge. I like to try to make it practical. So I narrowed it down to 21 days. This book you will complete in 21 days, reading one section a day. And it has reflection pieces. It has questions that it asks you. It encourages you to answer those questions just for you in there, because that's what makes the difference. And I also give you some challenges because I think that to get beyond the daily grind, we have to take some risk, and many of us have become risk adverse, or we have just settled into a status quo that needs to be broken. We need to get out of that if we're going to live a life that counts. And I use my running analogy here. You guys know I'm a distance runner and I'm a triathlete, and I love some of the analogies that you can bring from the training I do, from the races I run, from some of those things that are a part of my life. And so to live a life that you can feel good about, that you feel energized when you get up in the morning, and that you're ready to jump into it, and you have a vision for something exciting to happen that day, I think takes some cultivating of intentionality. And so my goal is that you can form some new habits over the 21 days that you do this. It does take around 21 days to form new habits. This gives you some specifics because you're reading something and you're answering some things, trying to make it, to ingrain it within you, what it means to you. And then you have some challenges that I outline to you, and then that you will customize to yourself within that. But I think the package together really is something that can help you take the next level to living a life of value, a rich life that ultimately adds impact to the world around you, and one that you can feel good about. So I think that Making the Miles Count is my best book yet. Always trying to get better on those pieces. It's accessible for anyone who wants to maximize their life, anyone who wants to make some self-improvement, anyone who wants to leave a lasting legacy that is positive. This can help you out. So I encourage you to take a look at that. You can come over, you can find it here on my website, MikeGingerich.com. The main banner image there is going to go to that. You can go to the store, you'll find it there. And again, just Google that, Making the Miles Count. My name on Amazon, it's going to come up, and there's a paperback and ebook version available to you. So very excited about that one. I think that you're going to hear stories, like I said, from running, from journaling, and from my journey, doing where I've come from and where I'm going. Not saying that I've arrived, but I'm a guy that is trying to live a life that is rich and that adds value, and I'm excited about some of those things that are happening. And one of those is coming up for me, and this is a big month when I'm going to run a marathon in Iraq. So yes, headed to the nation of Iraq going to run a sanctioned marathon event there, an international marathon, where we're doing 42 kilometers, 26.2 miles for people that are coming from Iraq and around the world. Going to join them together, promoting peace, harmony, and good relationships among all peoples and cultures. And particularly, I'm trying to raise money to rebuild homes for families that had them destroyed by ISIS when ISIS was in control of a swath of Iraq there. And you can read more about that on my site as well. There's a tab at the top that says Iraq race, and you can do that. I'm still trying to get funds. If you want to help me out, I appreciate that. I'm running marathons, so I'm saying, hey, you can give me $26. That's the marathon distance. I am trying to repair 2 homes, which I estimate is going to cost $5,600. So if you want to give me $56 for that, you can do that. You can add a 0 to either one of those and help me out with that, because $5,600 is a ways away yet. I'm at $1,500 and climbing in my fundraising efforts there. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm doing. Make the miles count. I am trying to make them count. I'm trying to do some things that have value for people that can't help themselves, and trying to allow people to join me in this journey. I'm going to update you on that, so I encourage you to check those resources out. And then the other key topic for today is which one in the small business realm, an LLC or an S Corp. So when you're ready to take that plunge, maybe you've been a solopreneur for a while, you need to have some legal covering on, so you want to take that next step and incorporate which one you go for. For the small business, these 2 types, the LLC, Limited Liability Corporation, or the S Corp, are the 2 that are most dominantly geared and favorable for the small businesses. They give you a protection from creditors, so your own personal assets are not at risk. It's just the business is responsible for that. Business investment piece is there, and they also provide taxation benefits within the U.S., and so that is a helpful thing. Both of them are pass-through entities. Owners only pay taxes on their personal income, and they both offer that you can deduct pre-tax expenses. So this is a way to help you with your tax bill, so things count, such as travel, infrastructure pieces you need, like computers, uniforms, also, utilities, phone bills, advertising expenses, car expenses, promotions, healthcare expenses, all those types of things. And that's a benefit for you. Let me just pull up my notes here. So LLC and S Corp, let's just go to the LLC pros, okay, that we can help you out with. So the pros of a LLC are that the owner of the business isn't required to file a business tax return, because you can file the LLC with your personal taxes. So there's a simplicity involved there. And it is the easier of the 2 to set up. Single member LLCs, you only need to fill out typically a 1-page form and then apply for your federal EIN identification. And so that's a fairly simple process there. Less expensive typically as well in terms of fees to set up. And as a matter of fact, you can do that process generally without a lawyer even. So I filed in Indiana, I filed in Pennsylvania, different LLCs, done all of that myself, just filling out the state forms and then doing the federal EIN identification number as well. The cons are that the owners of LLC must separate their business from their personal affairs. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad con. It's just that's part of the process, so that you're going to need separate banking accounts, separate credit cards, those types of pieces, so that there's a clear distinction between what is business and what is personal. That's just going to be good business legal sense as you move into a formal entity. And also be aware that typically with an LLC, because that LLC may be paying you're getting your income from that, you're typically going to need to file quarterly self-employment tax. So again, not having, waiting till the end of the year and having a big tax bill or those types of pieces, but filing quarterly self-employment tax on the income generated from the business. So, it's just some paperwork, some things to be aware of there. Now, on the S Corp side, the S Corps have the additional options can sell stock, which can be traded freely, And LLCs, meanwhile, can only sell an interest in the company. So with an S Corp, you could sell stock. You could have investors in the company there. And there's also some S Corp tax benefits. You pay reduced self-employment tax because you're allowed to pay a reasonable tax-deductible salary to the owner, to yourself. And so that's a big key. That's a positive of the S Corp. I'm going to come back to that later on. And it does have a little bit more, the S Corp management structure, reporting requirements for taxation, state reporting requirements. And now a benefit, though, is that an S Corp, because of those things, if you're trying to sell the entity at some point in time, has a greater appeal to investors. It's because of the higher regulation, they can trust that process a little bit more. So somebody that's wanting to buy the business might feel more comfortable seeing that it is an S Corp. As I said before, there's more strict administrative guidelines within the S Corp, and you need to abide by those, or else you'll be in trouble with the IRS. And passive income is limited, so that means that owners can't have more than 25% of gross receipts from passive income coming in. Now, so that's a little bit of a quick and simple. So the LLC, easy to set up, less legal costs involved there, less reporting requirements. S Corp, a little bit more reporting requirements, a little bit greater tax benefit within those type of things, stricter regulations on those pieces, more appealing if you're ever going to sell the business perhaps. Now, here is my pro tip, and I cover this in the podcast, the blog post, which is going to go along with this podcast, so I'll let you in on those notes. But you can enjoy the best of both worlds, and that is be an LLC that is taxed as an S Corp, okay? Be an LLC that's taxed as an S Corp. So basically you can set up as an LLC and file the forms for that, and then there is a option to file Federal Form 2553, file Form 2553, and then you can choose to be an LLC that's taxed as an S Corp. So that way you have the simplicity of the LLC and the taxation benefits of the S Corp. So that is the recommendation that I'm going to give you there, that I think seems to be the positive, unless you're just trying to build the company up so you can sell it. If you want to work in this for a number of years, it's going to be your business, this is the way to go, and that is file the papers for the LLC setup, get your federal EIN number, and then in the process of that file Form 2553, so that you're an LLC, it's a clause, LLC with taxation as an S Corp. That allows you to have that taxation benefit when you're paying yourself the salary. So just wanted to go through those pieces and tell you about that today in this podcast episode. And again, make the miles count. That's what it's all about, folks. So I'm even with this podcast episode, I'm trying to give you something of value that is worthwhile and can help your life and your business, and can help you move forward and leave a better impact on your world. That's my goal here. Hopefully I've done that. If you have any questions, reach out to me. That's what I got for you today. And again, come over to the blog and my site. You can see these different pieces. You can read the full blog post. I'll have some links in there as well. Again, the book is there. You can order from the store, and you can get it on Amazon. The ebook's only available on Amazon, not on my site. And what else did I say there? I mentioned the Iraq race. So next time I come back, hopefully I'll have some things to report on that. Follow me on social media if you want to see some clips along the way from this incredible journey I'm getting ready to take. All right, this is Mike, the After Mike Podcast. Thanks for your time. Over and out.